A private jet and a Porsche as a crime scene? Ooh. I'm Melba Pearson, and it's time for another Daily Diddy from your resident legal diva, giving you Diddy trial updates every day until we get a verdict. So we heard more incredibly heartbreaking and bombshell testimony today. First off was George Kaplan, who was up on the stand again today. He had started testifying yesterday, and he testified as to the really toxic environment that existed in the Diddy orbit. So first off, he saw Diddy beat Cassie on a private jet on the way to Las Vegas. And it was really sad because she's literally screaming, "Isn't anyone seeing this?" while he's like beating her and kicking her. Security did not intervene. And the witness, George Kaplan, was 23, so he freaked out and really didn't know how to handle it. He also talked about how back in 2015, he had to buy items to help Cassie cover up her black eye and her injuries as a result of Diddy beating her. Now, this was at Diddy's direction, so Diddy told him to go get those items. Eventually, he ended up quitting because he's like, this violence is too much for me. He also saw Diddy attack a woman by the name of Gina, so he was like, wow, my life is in danger. This is not the environment for me. However, on cross-examination, he did say that working for Diddy was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and experience, kind of like his Harvard University, and that he had to compartmentalize that horrible aspect of his working there. But he was out, but at least he said what had occurred and how Cassie was just, ugh, poor Cassie. Anyway, the other person we heard from, which we had been waiting for, was Kid Cudi. Now, Kid Cudi is an artist who dated Cassie back in 2011, and he didn't think that her and Diddy were together at that time. So he said when he first started dating her, he didn't realize that she and Diddy were still together. She did tell him that Diddy would beat her. Sometimes he would hit and kick her. And at one point in time, Kid Cudi hid Cassie from Diddy out of concern for her safety. And of course, the big drama, he did get a call from Diddy and an associate basically like, hey, we're at your house waiting for you. And he's like, what the? Literally, WTF, like you broke into my house and you're waiting for me there. Insanity. Then on another occasion, the infamous Porsche incident, his Porsche caught fire as a result of a Molotov cocktail being thrown in it. Hello, old school. And remember, Cassie had testified that Diddy had said that his car was going to catch fire as a result of him being jealous that they were together, that he was going to be out of the country when that happened, and that it would not be by his hand, but be at his direction. And Kid Cudi verified that his car did in fact. So he said that in the aftermath of that, him and Diddy met up to basically have a face-to-face. He shows up, he being Kid Cudi, shows up at the hotel room to meet Diddy. Diddy's all calm, standing there, like he said, a Marvel supervillain. And so Diddy, of course, denied knowing anything about the car, whatever. A few years later, Diddy actually apologized to Cudi very vaguely, being like, really sorry about the past. Now, cross-examination was a little messy. The defense got Kid Cudi, to admit that he felt played and that him and Diddy both commiserated over being played by Cassie, which I'm like, how y'all got played? Like, Diddy over here beating her left, right, and center, and Kid Cudi, you split when stuff got hot, and you were like, wow, this is too much drama for me, I can't be in this relationship, so where's the playing? Hello, toxic masculinity at its finest. But basically, defense got him to say something. So the defense got their behinds handed to them by the judge on a couple occasions. First off, one of the attorneys, Attorney Steele, had on cross-examination tried to ask Kid Cudi, hey, did you ever sleep with Cassie? And everybody was like, objection, no, like, not relevant, whatever. Basically trying to make her look promiscuous. Judge shut that down. Then, in preparation for the next witness, Mila Morales, who is a makeup artist, the defense wanted to introduce photos of her topless because, Mila had done her makeup, etc., and they wanted to show, like, oh, she had a burgeoning career. But it was basically like sex positive shaming her, or like what you would say, slut shaming her, like, oh, you did pictures with topless, so obviously you're promiscuous. The judge was like, no, we're not going down that path. You can show other pictures of her getting her makeup done with clothes on, but the topless thing, not relevant. So anyway, Mila then testifies about an incident between Diddy and Cassie. So Mila corroborated the testimony from Cassie about an incident when they were out, like basically Cassie went to a party that Prince was throwing at his house. She ran into Diddy, she freaked out, she ran back to the hotel room where Mila Mraz was taking a nap. She comes in, Diddy comes in afterwards. She does not see what actually happens, but she sees Cassie come out of the room with a black eye, knots in her head, all of that. So Cassie ended up staying with Mila for a few days. A doctor checked on her. She refused to go to the ER. Mila was so scared for her life, she did not call the police, and that was the end of it. Also, we heard from a hotel manager that said that every time Diddy checked out of a room in Beverly Hills, it was nasty. Okay, whatever. And then we also heard from an agent specializing in forensic computer science. So that was that. So trial is done for today. Nothing on Friday, nothing on Monday because of the Memorial Day weekend. So basically no court Friday, no court on Monday. However, on Tuesday, we expect to hear from another former assistant of Diddy's, as well as members from the LAPD and the LA Fire Department. That's going to be interesting. So anyway, everyone have a great long weekend. Of course, know that it's Memorial Day weekend. Take a moment to think about the reason why we have the holidays. People sacrifice their lives to be able for us to have our freedoms that we sometimes take for granted. And I will see y'all on Tuesday with more Daily Diddy. Take care. Bye.